That's the real kicker on lump sum money like that. It makes it really easy to go put out a fire.
I'm 63 and just inherited about $450,000. How do I make sure this money lasts and I'm making the smartest move with it? Kim, it's a great place to start with your focus being on how to make it last. If you're 63, you're probably getting close to, if you're not already into retirement. If you're not in retirement already, you're in the retirement red zone. So it becomes very important. What are you going to do with the $450,000? How can it help you achieve true financial independence? But the first thing, we have to identify where the $450,000 is, because that matters, John, from a potential tax implication.
Yeah, it could be in an inherited IRA account that maybe a parent left you or whatever the case may be. It could be life insurance death benefits. Just those two alone have stark differences in taxation. No taxation on the life insurance death benefit. There is full taxation on the IRA. And as we said earlier, you have to take that out over a 10-year period of time. Did the money come from a bank savings account? Did it come from a brokerage investment account? If so, you probably got to step up in what's called the cost basis, and you may not pay any tax on the principal that you invested. So there is a huge question about where this money is currently located, where its original source is. Now, I think that an accurate evaluation of where you currently are on your path to financial independence is really important here. This $450,000 has theoretically landed out of the blue. What else have you done to get prepared for retirement at 63 years old, So obviously you've probably made some preparations there. There's Social Security. Maybe you've got a 401k plan or whatever. How does this play into the bigger picture? It's oftentimes, not a smart thing to do what I call mental accounting. And you basically take this $450,000 and say, okay, I'm going to put this label on that. And this over here is my other stuff. That's my retirement. Maybe the two need to be merged together in terms of creating an income stream for you, because that income stream is the first step toward that financial independence.
Yeah, and that incorporates her first question on how do I make sure the money lasts, because you don't know how long you're going to live, Kim, and we want to make sure it never runs out. But building that retirement income plan starts with evaluating your expenses. How much are you going to need to live on a monthly basis just for a basic lifestyle? And then we compare the other side of the equation there to what kind of guaranteed income sources are you going to have on a monthly basis. If you're 63, you are likely eligible for a reduced Social Security benefit, but is it time? If you're still working, it's not going to be time to take it yet, more than likely. But if you get closer to retirement, whenever you do actually step away from work, if you haven't already, you can evaluate, is that Social Security check going to be enough to provide myself with a basic lifestyle? If not, we would need to look at other investments to incorporate additional guaranteed income just so you can pay the bills. Now, beyond that, what does retirement look like? What do you want to do? What's the quantifiable monthly income equivalent to what is my lifestyle going to look like? Where do I want to travel a lot, or am I going to stay at home? Those are two very big differences from a monthly income perspective. But then as we determine those numbers, you'll see, am I short or am I good? And if you're good, that $450,000 can be potentially earmarked for another reason. But if you need some or all of it to create the true financial independence you're looking for, then that would be incorporated, as John has already mentioned, into the overall plan. And how we do that, John, the investment strategy is vitally important here. We talked about at the beginning, Kim is either in retirement or she's in the retirement red zone.
Yeah, you've got to be prepared for, what happens as you approach retirement. There are some really not so great things that can happen if you have the money more aggressively invested as you head toward retirement. About the time you need it, the old saying of the 401k became a 201k. You don't want that to happen. Here's something else that I think I want to be sure to emphasize in this situation, Scott, is to get a plan regardless of what your goal is, and don't let the money just sit and be slowly spent on life. Because for some strange reason, there's always something to spend money on. And it seems to, I don't want to wax mystic here or anything, but it seems like the forces of nature know when you get a bunch of money, because all of a sudden, all this stuff starts happening. And you got to spend it on this and you got to spend it on that. And sooner or later, you're going to wake up and go, that's all gone. And I was not intentional about it. I did not have my focus on what I needed to have it on. I was too busy putting out fires. And you have to ask yourself, okay, if those fires had occurred before I got this money, how would I have handled them? Oftentimes, that's the real kicker on lump sum money like that. It makes it really easy to go put out a fire. I think sometimes family members go, oh, well, mom got that money. I'm going to just, I got this bill over here. I'm going to see if I can maybe talk her into sliding me a few dollars and help me out with this. And sooner or later, Scott, it slowly leaks out of your bank account to somewhere else, and your financial independence is gone with it.
You know what I also see is the opposite of that potentially. You put it over on the sidelines. You don't really want to invest it. You don't want to get it working for you because you're not sure what you're going to do with it. And if you don't make a plan, you could be looking up 2 years later. Let's say you did that a couple of years ago and the markets had a 40% run up and you were sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out what you were going to do with it.
Yeah.
When you could have incorporated it into your overall plan.
You know, oftentimes fear is a paralyzer, and that's what happens in those situations. You're fearful of making a decision on it, so your indecision becomes your decision.
And the plan is the antidote on both sides of that, right?
That's exactly right.
If you're worried about spending it, if you're worried about not spending it, it could happen. But getting a plan together can make all the difference.